Simba just told you about the issue of framing. You know, I'm a governance expert, I'm an economist, but I'm also a decision-making expert. The most important thing to make a good decision is about framing. Like, for example, if you want to discuss an issue, if you frame the issue wrongly, you might find opposition. For example, you go to a medical doctor and they tell you, Simba, this medicine, there's 99% chance if you take it, you'll get well. Mm-hmm. That's one framing, isn't it? The other framing is that this medicine, if you take it, you have 1% chance of dying. Don't you think it's the same thing, but framing is different, and you'll feel differently about it? So the question is, what do the president ought to talk about? For me, this is what we need to discuss. Whatever he'll talk about already we know. He's going to defend everything he's doing and tell us how he's stabilizing the economy. We will know that. We know that speech. We know it. And according to me, what does the president ought to talk about? Not for us, Mimi and Fanyamambo, we are experts. What are the issues that are affecting Kenyans that need to talk about? And what is the solution we need to give? Because let me tell you what, Simba, before you even, I know you're an anchor, and as a decision-making expert, we don't like being anchored. Anchoring somebody to make them talk in a certain direction. First of all, I'll talk about 2 over 2. What are our 2 greatest enemies before we even talk about presidential speech? Our greatest enemy is, one, anybody telling you that our problem we have now began with Kenya Kwanza government. That's a lie. Our problem began in 1992.
Yes.
It was planted then. Because the guys who have been in governments from that time until now have been there. Since 1992, Ruto was in Youth for Kanu 92. Uhuru was there, Jirongo was there. You can name those people. Moi was there, Raila was there. All these guys were there. The second enemy is anybody who has been in government telling you that they have a solution which is better than what William Ruto is doing. That's another liar. Why? Let me give you just a scenario in 2008, because Kenyans were there, all young people were there. 2008, who was the president? Mwai Kibaki. Who was the vice president? Kalonzo Musyoka. Now he's in Azimio, isn't it? Raila Odinga was the prime minister. Now he's in Azimio, saying Ruto is wrong, of course, isn't it? Martha Karua was minister, isn't it? Is now in Azimio. Musalia Mudavadi was deputy prime minister. Now he's government, isn't it? Wetangula was minister for foreign affairs. All those figures you're talking about inside and outside the government were inside the government.
Yes.
What have they received? Have they gotten a Damascus experience now that they know something different? Wajua, there's something Mwai Kibaki said one day, jamani, umekuwa hapa tu. Sasa kesho unasema jamani, ati kuna kitu unajua kutushinda. Kibaki ever said that thing one day. When he said, sasa unadhani tu umemuka tu mara moja pap, alafu kuna kitu umejua kutushinda sisi. Tumekuwa na wewe hapa. So what I'm trying to say, the 2 enemies are those who tell you our problems began now with Kenya Kwanza, and 2, those telling you they have a solution, yet they have been inside government.
Yes.
Now, what is our 2 friends? Because when that's 2 over 2. 2 friends, 2 enemies. 2 friends are, 1, decency. Decency, as a head of state going to address people, are you going to be decent? Are you going to tell Kenyans the truth? Is the Kenyan debt true? How you're saying it? Because according to me, my friend Jim Wanjigi was also speaking at Spice FM. And he said that it's a sin of crime. Treasury is a sin of crime. I have gone to court challenging the debt in Kenya.
Yes.
And I told you here, Simba, that official debt according to appropriation in Parliament is 2.1 trillion. According to Treasury, it is 6.1 trillion. According to Kenya Kwanza government, according to State House, it is 9.2 trillion. Are those figures just error? Is it a coincidence? So, is the president going to say, guys, this is the secondly, why are we having this problem? We have a lot of illegal debts. So me as an economist, I expect the president to tell us that we have around something like 7 trillion illegal debt. Our official debt is 2.1 trillion.
Yes.
And I want him to declare that he won't pay them. Some of that debt has been borrowed at 50% interest rate. Now you tell me where you're getting your money. Are you getting them from the moon? That they should be 50% interest. So what I'm trying to say, should the president come and tell us the truth? Because in the book which I've just given you called Solomonic Economics,
yes,
they say world-class wealth begins with objective reality. Where are we as a country in truth? The president has borrowed 1.3 trillion. He has collected 3.6 trillion. That's 4.9 trillion. How have we used the money? Don't tell us how much you want to collect. So we expect the president to come with accountability. At the same time, we expect the president to own up to the things which have not worked, isn't it? Because in any way, we don't expect everything he promised to work. He's a human being, isn't it? And some things also has worked not because he did anything, and that some things have not worked not because of his own making.
Yes,
so can we come back and say, guys, this is where we are as a country, openly, and this is now want to move from where we are to where we want to go. If I want to direct you to Kenya Cinema and ask you, Simba, where are you? Then you lie to me that you're in Jogoo Road. Will I help you get to Kenya Cinema? No. So it's a national conversation by them telling fellow Kenyans, as your head of state, this is where we are. I suggest we need to go here.
Yes.
Can I hear any expert views? So today should be a day of national conversation about, are we in agreement that taxes should go up so that you can collect more? Is it true? Of course it's not, isn't it? Because people, when they campaign, they give us Singapore example, South Korea example, but after entering government, they give us the example of South Sudan, isn't it? DRC. Why don't you campaign and tell us, Kenyans, I want to take you DRC, so that we elect you knowing we are going DRC, not telling us about Singapore. But after I take over government, tell about DRC, we are not bad like Tanzania, we are better than Uganda. Those ones were not your benchmark when you're campaigning. We are benchmarking with Singapore. Remember, both Raila and Ruto benchmark with Singapore, isn't it? Why are they now telling us about Tanzania? Do you know Kenya is the worst in terms of ease of doing business in Africa? We have only beaten South Sudan, which is the youngest country in Africa. Now, Kenyans want to know ease of doing business.
Yes.
KRA harassment, where you have to open your bags, even if you carry samosa. Sometimes maybe you carry some things that only you want to know. Imagine, Simba, you travel with your father, your sister, your mother, and someone is opening your bag. They might see some things that only God needs to know with you. You understand?
That's it.
So I'm trying to say we need to hear about that very clearly.
Yes.
Another thing I want to hear about is the president needs to be honest. The team he has around him has not helped him. Kibaki went into State House on a wheelchair, but mentally sound. He appointed, go look at Kibaki cabinet, Anyang' Nyong'o was there. Name those people. You can say there were people who can deliver.
Yes.
Tell me any equivalence of Anyang' Nyong'o in this current government.